Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single evolution card in Clash Royale. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like if you enjoy the video. So guys, starting off here, we are going to be ranking the Evo Skeletons, and honestly, Evo Skeletons aren't bad. I just feel like everything else has gotten, buffed, and Evo Skeletons have only really ever gotten nerfed, and I feel like they may need another buff to start competing with some of the other evolutions. I feel like Evo Skeletons are only that Evo that you use if you don't really have any other option. For that reason, I think I'm going to put them in the D tier. I feel like the Evo Skeletons are not really too great. Next up, guys, we have the Evo Firecracker. Man, do I just like the Evo Firecracker, man. Always in those Hog EQ decks. I feel like Evo Firecracker is only really used in, like, Hog Earthquake, but I feel like, for example, it terrorizes mid-ladder, and every single mid-ladder deck has the evolved Firecracker, so I think I'm going to put the Evo Firecracker in the A tier. Let me know what you guys think of the Firecracker Evo, because I feel like that's one of the more controversial evolutions. I feel like some of you guys may have that a lot higher or a lot lower. Next up, we have the Evo Wizard here. Evo Wizard isn't really used in any specific decks, but I feel like it is just, like, a solid evolution. Like, it gets the job done, but I feel like you only really use it if you're a Wizard player. You would never, like, substitute any card in your deck for a Wizard, except when it was, like, at its peak, but it's definitely not what it once was anymore. I think I'm going to put the Evo Wizard also in the D tier, probably on the level of the Evo Skeletons. Now, guys, we have the Evo Barbs. Man, Evo Barbs are getting used a decent bit last season, and to be honest, every time I face them, I'm like, damn, bro has Evo Barbs. Like, I feel like Evo Barbs are, like, a really unique concept, but I do think that maybe they need a little bit more love. I feel like there's just a bit too many counters that are strong in the meta. Like, for example, it gets countered by the Evo Wizard, the Evo Firecracker, like, all of the other ranged splashers, like, Evo Dark Goblin, Evo Bomber, Evo Valkyrie, like, Evo Witch, Evo Executioner. There's just way too many counters right now, so I feel like I'm also going to put the Evo Barbs in the D tier, although I wish they were a bit better. Now we have the Evo Battle Ram, guys. Man, Evo Battle Ram was so strong last season, and it's quite strong this season. One of my favorite evolutions as well, actually. I feel like Evo Battle Ram is really, really nice in Bridge Spam, and it's kind of hard carrying Bridge Spam right now against, like, all of those Goblin Hut decks and stuff like that, because you're able to dash into the towers repeatedly over and over and over again. I think Evo Battle Ram is about B tier. Definitely, like, above average, but nothing, like, too more above average, but I do just have a lot of love for it. Also, guys, I will be ranking the evolution, how it is, kind of like a mixture of everything, like how it is in the meta, how it is, just in general, that kind of thing. So, now we have the Evo RG. Evo RG is so strong, man, but I do feel like RG as a deck did take quite a big hit with the Monk nerf. But if I'm ranking just the evolution straight up, I feel like RG Evo would also just be like B tier. It kind of gets the job done, it knocks back the Swarm units and the middle ranged HP, like DPS units like Mini Pekka, for example. So it definitely does its job very well. Doesn't do much more than its job, but I feel like paired up with the Rage, it goes absolutely nuts. I think I'll put that in the B tier as well, probably above the Evo Battle Ram. Next up, guys, we have the Evo Goblin Cage. Man, Evo Goblin Cage, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated evolutions of all time, because the Evo Goblin Cage can get so much value, and even more than just, like, the value that it gets, it's, like, the lingering threat of the Evo Goblin Cage. And what I mean by that is, say your opponent's playing a giant deck, right? Once you get to that Evo Cage, they can't even make a giant push, or they're, like, comfortably sacrificing a whole push to that Evo Goblin Cage. So, like, just the fact that you have to, like, sit there and let it take out, like, a bunch of elixir, or you have to, just not push at all, I feel like inherently makes it really strong. I'm going to put it in the B tier as well. I feel like it's really, really strong. I think it's better than the RG, to be honest. Next up, guys, we have the Evo Tesla. Evo Tesla made a crazy comeback last season. I feel like before last season, Evo Tesla was really only used in Expo. But now I feel like Evo Tesla's a very, very solid evolution, kind of used in a lot of different decks, like some Hog Rider decks, some Logbait decks, some Drill decks. I feel like Evo Tesla is definitely like an A-tier evolution. Very, very solid, I would say. Definitely made a nice comeback. Now we have the Evo Mortar. Man, the Evo Mortar is a very nice one, man. I really dislike facing it because I feel like Evo Mortar gets, like, really, really good value, and it pressures really hard. Like, all it takes is that one lock on, and you're kind of cooked because of that Goblin, but I feel like it's definitely not better than, like, the Evo Tesla, but I feel like it's definitely better than, like, the Battle Ram, for example, so I think I'll just put it in the B tier. Okay, next up we have the Evo Wall Breakers. Man, Evo Wall Breakers actually make a pretty strong case to be the best evolution in the game. I feel like the amount of pressure they apply, the amount of value that they get for only 2 elixir is absolutely insane. You can defend, for example, say an Evo Witch with it, a minion horde. You can defend, you know, like lumberjacks, Valkyries, knights, all that kind of stuff with the Evo Wall Breakers explosion, and they will still connect onto the tower. Or you can, you know, go for Wall Breakers Evo at the bridge, and if your opponent doesn't have a very specific set of cards, you're guaranteed to either get a massive positive trade, or you're just going to get a massive amount of damage. So for that reason, I'm going to put them in the S tier. Arguably best evolution in the game for me, for sure. Now we have the Evo Recruits. Now, this is my most hated evolution. I am a massive Royal Recruits hater. Comment down below if you're also a Royal Recruits hater. I love you guys. Shout out to all of you. I think I'll put Evo Recruits maybe in the A tier. I feel like Evo Recruits are just like, they apply too much pressure and they're way too easy to use. Also with the new Evo Skeleton barrel, they're just way too strong in the meta. Just get so much value and they're just so popular right now. Now we have the Evo Archers. Man, Evo Archers are also extremely strong right now in the meta. I don't think that the Evo Archers are better than the Recruits. I feel like they're on about the level of the Firecracker, maybe depending on the matchup. You know, Evo Archers would be better, or Evo Firecracker would be better. Just because you can split them against arrows, I think I'll put them above the Firecracker. They're both really, really solid, and they both like can pretty much auto win you a game if your opponent doesn't have like arrows. So I do think that they might be a bit better than Firecracker just because of their resistance against the arrows compared to the Firecracker. Now we have the Evo Valkyrie. Dude, Evo Valkyrie is honestly one of the most slept on evolutions, just like with the Goblin Cage. I feel like Evo Valkyrie is so good, and people don't even really talk about it. I feel like Evo Valkyrie, in my opinion, needs a nerf really, really badly. I feel like it gets so much value, and it's kind of like the Goblin Cage, like the threat of the Evo Valkyrie if you're playing a ground deck, where if they have the Evo Valkyrie, you kind of have to be content with just sacrificing a push, because Evo Valkyrie literally counters like a Golem Knight, which by itself, which is nasty. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier for that. Now we have the Evo Bats. Evo Bats are so underrated. I actually love using them as well. They're very, very nice to use. I feel like people kind of sleep on the Evo Bats because of, like, for example, Zap, Snowball, and Rage. But if you don't, like, play it in time, then obviously the Evo Bats are not going to die. And then with the Snowball and the Rage, they take a second to come down. So a lot of the times, like, 2 to 3 Bats survive, which is very, very good value. And if your opponent doesn't have those types of spells, Bats Evo can single-handedly win you a game. I'm going to put them in the A tier, probably above the Recruits, but behind the Valkyrie, honestly. Now we have the Evo Ice Spirit. Man, even after all these nerfs, Evo Ice Spirit is still just extremely strong and one of the most dominant Clash Royale evolutions. I'm going to put it in the S tier, man. Just so strong. You can never really go wrong with an Evo Ice Spirit. Now we have the Evo Knight. I would say Evo Knight is pretty strong. I feel like it does its job. It's very, very solid against like the ranged units when it's not attacking, so it gets that little 50% damage reduction shield, like against Archer Queens, Cannon Carts, Mortars, X-Bows, stuff like that. Does a very, very good job. I feel like it's probably at the top of B tier, maybe behind the Royal Giant Evo, but I feel like it's definitely stronger than Evo Mortar. Actually, maybe not. I'm not really sure. Tell me what you guys think about that. I'm not really too sure how I feel about that. Now we have the Evo Zap. Evo Zap is so nice, man, especially paired with cards like Arrows, Goblin Curse, Rage. It's so annoying. Oh, and Fireball, too. Having the Evo Zap plus Fireball, being able to take out, like, Evo Electro Dragons, Archer Queens, Evo Witches when it has the Overheal. Definitely a very underrated card. Oh, and the Evo Hunter, man. Kind of like an essential card to Lava Hound decks, usually. I feel like the Evo Zap is high B tier, maybe low A tier. Probably better than the RG, honestly. I feel like Evo Zap, it just serves such an essential role to the decks that it's in. Now we have the Evo Bomber. I feel like the Evo Bomber kind of has the same problem as the Evo Skeletons, where if it's in a deck, usually you're only using it because you didn't have like any other option. I feel like usually there's better options in most decks. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in the C tier, to be honest. I feel like it's just like, you know, average. Nothing crazy, nothing like too bad either. Now we have the Evo Goblin Barrel. Evo Goblin Barrel did just take a nerf recently, but I still feel like Evo Goblin Barrel is one of the better evolutions in the game. Like, one of the best, arguably like top 6, top 7 evolutions in the game. I think it's, you know, a bit better or a bit worse than the Evo Valkyrie. My biased mind says worse than the Evo Valkyrie just because it just recently got nerfed, you know what I mean? Definitely took a very, very big hit from the recent balance changes, but it's still a solid evolution for sure. Now we have the Evo Snowball. And how this card dodged a nerf in the balance changes is beyond me. I genuinely do not understand how Evo Snowball didn't get nerfed. Evo Snowball is definitely the best spell in the game by far. I think I'd put it behind the Evo Wall Breakers, but maybe above the Evo Ice Spear, just because of the defensive aspect of the Evo Wall Breakers. Now we have the Evo Goblin Giant. Man, Evo Goblin Giant is an F tier, no questions asked. There's just no reason to use the Evo Goblin Giant when you can just use the Giant, which is better in my opinion. Now we have the Evo Mega Knight. Evo Mega Knight is solid, although sometimes I feel like the Evo Mega Knight can be just a little bit of a nerf, you know, say against Evo Witch, it knocks the Evo Witch behind the bridge and it keeps it alive because you can protect it, but other than that, I feel like Evo Mega Knight is so strong, like, it can counter Pekka Batter and pushes by itself, Pekka Ram Riders, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it just does such a good job on defense, and then also can have some really nice clutch moments on offense as well, like resetting like Mighty Miners, for example, can be really, really strong with the Evo Mega Knight decks. I think for that reason, I'm going to put it in the B tier, but maybe a bit worse than the Evo RG. Now we have the Evo Musketeer. Man, Evo Musketeer is also one of my favorite evolutions, just because of the concept. I feel like the concept is so cool, just being able to snipe down units, you know, make some nice predictions, have some nice sequences. But I do think that, you know, it's kind of average. I would say that it's better than the Bomber, but not really, like, anything special, to be honest. It's definitely a very, very fun evolution, though. Only really used in Balloon Cycle, though, sadly. Now we have the Evo Pekka. I feel like Evo Pekka is actually making a bit of a comeback. I feel like I ranked Evo Pekka quite a bit lower last time that I had a all evolutions tier list, but honestly, I'm going to bite the bullet, guys. I'm going to say I was wrong. Evo Pekka definitely is at least an average evolution. I don't think it's much better than average, but I do think that, you know, it's a solid evolution, and if you have, you know, the option for Evo Pekka, you definitely wouldn't be upset that you're using the Evo Pekka. I think it's better than the Evo Bomber, but you know, not as good as the Evo Musketeer. Now we have the Evo Goblin Drill. Guys, in my opinion, this is the worst evolution in Clash Royale, and the reason that I think this is the worst Clash Royale evolution is for the sheer fact that regular Goblin Drill is used more than the Evo. Make that make sense, man. Like, no one even uses the Evo Drill, so, like, I feel like it's just automatic grounds to be the worst evolution in the game. Why would you ever use this, you know, if you could just use the regular one and then get two other better Evos, because it's just worse than everything else. I'm putting this as the worst evolution in the game, for sure, man. Now we have the Evo E-Drag. Man, Evo E-Drag is such an annoying concept because if you have a beatdown deck, right, with no way to kill it, it will shut down your entire push by the time you finish blinking. Or if you're playing, like, a deck that doesn't give any value against it, you may as well just, like, leave the game because you're just playing one evolution down and your evolution isn't going to do anything. You're basically just playing with a handicap. So I feel like for that reason, I can't put it above average. I think average is the best that I could put it, but, like, it's not even much more than that. It's mainly just for the fact that, like, it shuts out beatdown so badly if they don't have a lightning, but if they have a lightning, it's trash. And then, like, if they don't have a beatdown deck, it's just useless. I'm going to put that in the C tier, man. Just average, but I feel like it's even stretching it being there. Now we have the Evo Dark Goblin. Man, I love the Evo Dark Goblin. Evo Dark Goblin is really, really solid, man. I feel like it has become so strong recently, especially with the log nerf as well. It's even better now than it was last season, and last season it was so strong, so popular. I'm going to put the Evo Dark Goblin in the S tier, man. You guys may disagree, or you may heavily agree with me. I feel like that's going to be a really polarizing one, similar to the Firecracker, but I do think that Evo Dark Goblin is one of the best evolutions in Clash Royale. Arguable for first, but in my opinion, it's not. Now we have the Evo Lumberjack. I feel like Evo Lumberjack is another one where I was wrong about. I feel like the Evo Lumberjack is so good, and people kind of underrate it because it got a big nerf compared to what it used to be, but I feel like that right now in the meta, Evo Lumberjack kind of found, like, its place. You know, it's used in some balloon decks. It's used in a lot of Pekka decks, actually, surprising enough. And it's in, like, a few other off-meta decks that work very well, like Giant, you know, some Goblin Giants. I feel like it's a very solid evolution right now, and I wouldn't really change anything about it, to be honest. I'm just going to put it in the top of B tier. Now we have the Evo Skeleton Barrel. Man, I know you guys were waiting for the Evo Skeleton Barrel. I love it a lot. I really enjoy playing with the Evo Skeleton Barrel. It's very fun, in my opinion, and honestly, I would say it's probably better than the Evo Snowball right now. In my opinion, second best evolution in Clash Royale. It is so good, man. This also needs a big nerf, in my opinion. Okay, now we have the Evolved Cannon. Evolved Cannon is easily a S-tier evolution for sure. There's no questions about that. I just don't know where it would place. I would place it behind the Evo Dark Goblin, but maybe in front of the Evo Ice Spirit. It's just so strong, and depending on the meta, it could be the best evolution, but I would say that in this meta, it's probably, you know, like in the middle of the S-tier pack. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of overly strong evolutions right now, at least in my opinion. Now we have the Evo Hunter. Evo Hunter got toned down nicely with the nerf that it got recently, although it is still very strong, and in my opinion, it does need a nerf. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't need a nerf. In my opinion, it's very strong, but doesn't need a nerf. I would probably put it in the A tier, honestly. I feel like it's definitely one of the better evolutions. Probably better than the Recruits. The Evo Hunter, though, is very strong, and I feel like it's one of those though that are just strong due to synergy and not really the fact that it's a really strong evolution by itself because it's only ever used in RG. Evo XE, man, Evo XE is a good one. I enjoy the Evo Executioner a lot, man. While facing it, I mean, no, using it, I hate facing it. Facing it is a big headache, especially depending on your deck. But I would say that it's a bit worse than the Firecracker, but maybe better than the Tesla. I feel like Executioner is one of the harder ones to fit in a deck because it's not very versatile. Like, it's 5 elixir, and you kind of usually need it with NATO, and if you don't have it with NATO, you kind of need it with like specific cards or like a very, very specific deck or matchup. So I feel like it's just limited by the fact that it's not a very versatile card. So I'm just going to have it in the end of A tier. Now, Evo Inferno Dragon. God, I hate this card, man. If you guys haven't, like, if you guys say you haven't been rolled by like a 1-tick Evo Inferno Dragon that just like ticks your tower once for like 800 damage or like 1 second lock for 3000 damage, you're just like lying your ass off. This card is so annoying. One of the most rage bait cards ever in Clash Royale. I think for this, I'm putting it in quite in the middle of, you know, the A tier. I think it's better than the Evo Hunter, to be honest. It is actually so strong. I hate this evolution so much. It's one of the most annoying ones possible. And now we have the Evo Witch. Clash Royale, nerf this card immediately. You have nerfed it 4 times, and it's still one of the best, man. I'd say it's better than the Evo Snowball. It is still so strong. They did such a bad job, you know, trying to adjust it and tone down the strength. But, guys, this is my Clash Royale tier list ranking. Let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with, if there's anything that you would change. And thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.